So Yaman, how do you balance?
I can't. Okay. Sorry.
You can ask it from me.
Okay, we'll give.
So Yaman, how do you balance school life and karting?
So.
Okay, you know what? I'll ask it. No,
Oh, you ask too much.
just so what to do? Yeah.
Can you ask?
I can't, man. I can't.
Easy.
Okay. Last chance. Yeah. Well, actually, it's nice to see that school is getting involved in motorsport for the first time because that has never happened in Sri Lanka, no? So
Yeah, pretty well.
that's quite nice to know. And when did you guys start this?
We
When did you start
started
racing?
like about 6-7 years back.
Okay.
And I've been there since then.
Yeah.
And I was captain last year, so we had some success last year as well.
Okay. And when did you start racing?
So I started racing around with school karting actually. So
Okay.
I started
So
racing
6-7 years
because
ago.
of school.
And you guys, when did you start racing?
I started last year, like March.
Okay. And you?
Last year, Feb.
Feb. And you?
When I was 6,
And how old are you now?
15.
Okay. So you've been racing for a while as well. And you?
Since I was about like 8.
Yeah.
Your age.
Yeah. There's a lot of experience. So
Yeah.
what are your guys' like goals and dreams? Like what do you want to achieve from racing with the future? Do you see it as a future for you guys?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Our goal is currently to just go for an international endurance race.
Okay. So international, like as in anywhere, like Dubai even and stuff?
Yeah, Dubai, Malaysia.
Yeah. And all of you on the same team?
Yes, this is the endurance team.
2-stroke or 4-stroke?
Probably Saudis.
Saudis, okay.
Yeah.
So 4-stroke, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dubai is probably the best place then for
Really?
Saudis, yeah. Because they have the 12 hours, the 24 hours during this time of year as well.
Right.
But when would you be looking to like try and enter that? This year?
Probably this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Try and target that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, there's races all year round.
Right.
And then there's loads of things in Asia happening now after COVID. So there's a lot of opportunity.
So yeah, one thing
Yeah.
we were curious about was you could probably answer that. So now
Yeah.
we know we're the first here. But one thing Eshan kind of brought up was how we might be the first worldwide.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've been to a lot of countries racing. Have you seen, well, from what you know, like a school setup like this or?
Absolutely not. If
Not
you
at
guys
all,
can be a school and make it internationally, you'll be the first not only in Sri Lanka but in the world, which is a
Yeah,
massive
because
thing.
that was
Yeah.
the point that was brought up. So I feel like you could answer that. So
Definitely.
not something you see, like
Yeah,
internationally even.
No,
from what
yeah,
you see.
I mean, not from what I've seen before. So it would be really cool if you guys can do that. And to be able to achieve as well, that's another thing, not just entry.
So that's
So-
what we're kind of looking at international racers.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that, So
And you guys have the experience. You've been racing for a while now.
Yeah.
And are you going to keep practicing this year? And
Yeah, definitely,
What
yeah,
is
for sure.
your targets in terms of like doing the hard work and stuff to try and achieve it?
yeah, so I was there last year, and
Yeah.
these guys will be taking over next year. So Adam, what do you have to say to that question?
Yeah.
To get probably a win in the endurance.
Yeah. In Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably have to conquer this country first before going abroad,
Yeah.
right? So,
How have the last races been?
It's been a little rough, but we did come third for our 12-hour endurance. So I think it's not the best, but we've won a few endurances, right, Kevin?
Yeah,
first.
so within 2 years of starting YEVAN, we won. There was a 6-hour here. We won that race.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you heard 𝓕𝓸𝓲𝓷 and all those
Yeah,
people.
I know.
Yeah. So you raced with him as well, right?
yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
he was one of our first captains. So
Yeah.
he was.
Wow.
They got
Yeah.
P5 in the 8-hour that was back then,
Yeah.
and
you
they
won the
that
6
race.
hours.
Yeah,
That's
back
impressive.
then,
So
yeah.
you've already got results and stuff. I think you
Exactly.
know what you need to do.
Yeah.
I think it's just being able to go and achieve like abroad, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that by this year, definitely.
Yep. Hopefully, yeah.
It's quite inspirational, actually. Like you said, there's no school in Sri Lanka or in the world that's going to enter.
Yeah, that's
so,
what we want to tap into the international.
Yeah. When did you guys
side.
come up with this idea?
So again, like all the school boys just got together.
Yeah.
Like obviously motorsport is a passion, right?
Yeah.
So everyone got together.
Yeah.
And then school gave them the opportunity to kind of get it going. So
Right.
I think that's the cool part of it.
Yeah, it's nice that they're supporting you as well.
So mainly, YEVAN now, well, most of us, I think, will look to get into racing beyond school also.
Mhm.
So based on your experience, having gone as far as you have,
Yeah.
how would you, how does the karting hierarchy go in terms of getting to
Well, I mean,
where you are right now?
like, so I started here as well. Like, I was like 6 years old and driving
Really?
for the first time. Yeah, I was his age when he started as well. And And then like, obviously some of you have a go-kart now like that. I did the same thing, bought a go-kart, started practicing, so I was living in Singapore, so I started doing races locally there, like how you guys do here.
Yeah.
And then I just did the same thing what you guys are about to do this year. Started going to Malaysia, and then I started going to Thailand. I went to Europe for a couple races every year, and then when COVID hit, like we were able to have the funds and the budget to go to Europe full time. So then for the last few years, I've been racing full time in karting in Europe, which is where you want to go if you want to go to cars.
Right.
Yeah, basically you have to go to Europe for karting. And then last year I progressed to Formula 4 after I turned 15, and then now I'm moving up to F3.
Yeah, so because that's one thing I think, being a school team, we're trying to push it from the grassroots level to get people, because I feel like if we can get people through here, a lot of them will continue racing abroad even. So I think
exactly.
So basically it start on rentals, then get onto the two strokes.
You guys started the exact same way I started. It's just the next few steps. So like in my first year I started to go to Malaysia and stuff as well, and that's what you guys are
Were
about
those
to do.
national events or kind of regional?
It was international. So like as in, it wasn't a big grid. There was only 15, 20 drivers, but it was considered an international race. Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't endurance. It was normal. And for the endurance races, it'll be bigger probably. So you guys have more opportunity.
And because that's a team thing, I think the setup is different.
Yeah, definitely. And I never went to Dubai or Middle East for it, but I think that can be good for you guys.
Have you taken part in any endurance races?
One in Dubai. In 12 hours of Dubai.
And
it's quite good there.
With 𝓕𝓵𝓵, is it?
Yeah, with 𝓕𝓵𝓵, yeah.
So how was that? I think that's also kind of similar setup to here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was my first endurance race. I think we finished 4th. But it's interesting because I never did one before, and it's actually quite physical. So
yeah, that's what even we realized. Yeah, because karting people think it's a individual thing.
No, it's
endurance became a team thing for us. So.
Yeah, even karting, like if you just do 2 strokes, for me it's as physical as F4, maybe even more. It's because
tough. It's I think mainly that's from switching to the 2 categories.
Yeah,
like I think people say karting is actually pretty up there because like there's no guardrails or anything on the
and
so
also
how did they compare roughly?
Yeah, the corners are much more quick, right? So like you're always doing something, and then also if you move up to F4, you're racing on F1 tracks. So it's a tiny car on a big track, so everything feels slow. That's why karting is more physical. But in terms of F4, you have to learn how to use the suspension, how to rotate the cars. So those are different things. But going abroad for you guys, I think Dubai or Malaysia, like Southeast Asia, Singapore, are the main targets for you.
That's what they're looking at. So another thing is, YEVAN, I feel like, so when people think of karting in school, because there are a lot of other things going on as well, the financial side kind of bogs them down. Yeah. So how were you able to kind of negate that, or even finding sponsors? How were you able to kind of get that stuff done?
I mean, so if you look at 2020 or just before COVID, I wasn't able to afford a season in Europe in karting. But my parents worked hard and we found the funds that way, and then I was able to build up from there. After I did my first season in Europe, I was able to get some sponsors from the exposure, and then it just keeps building up from there. Once you make the first step, everything will fall into place. Obviously, you have to do the right things. Social media needs to be good, and I think that's important for you guys as well. If you can start a social media and say like, you're the first school team that's going to go abroad, you'll get loads of followers, loads of people that want to be involved.
Yeah, there's definitely a community, right?
Yeah, definitely. That could be very, very good for you guys.
So YEVAN, how do you balance your schoolwork?
So I do online A levels. So I actually have 1 class a day. I do 3 subjects: math, physics, and psychology. And usually on race weekends and stuff, it's quite difficult because I'm missing Thursday and Friday to travel. So I study on flights and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So like, I live in Dubai, so I have 6-hour flights to Europe and back. So I study on those flights and I just do it like that. And then obviously May, June comes around and I have the exam. But you have to be very good at time management. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I did my O-levels in 2023 at the end of the year. That was the first time I actually had to like lock in and be focused on time management, and it was a struggle. Like, this is another thing. I was so bad at managing my time, but now like it's been a couple of years, so I've gotten used to it.
Right.
But basically, I do it online.
Cool. Do you have any advice for us, our team?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you an example. When I was 6, when I started, like you would not think who I was back then, because I always got into trouble in school. I was terrible at school. I'm serious. Like I was a really bad kid.
Yeah.
And when I started racing, I was terrible. Like I was so slow.
Really?
But yeah, I was not quick at all. And not a lot of people know that. But
Yo.
so when I got the go-kart in 2014 in January, I practiced every single Saturday, Sunday, every weekend, and then I had my first race in 2015. So that hard work, that commitment you put in, it's not about talent. No sport is about talent. It's about hard work. So I was that kid that was the slowest out of everyone, and I was able to improve myself and build up from that. So you guys can do the same thing as a team as well, just to keep improving. And that's the main goal. It's not to finish first, not to finish on the podium, just to keep improving. So that's my advice.